Hey, good morning, everybody. Sorry, a little bit late there on getting started. Good morning. Allergies trying to get me. Sorry if my voice is gruff or I sneeze or cough. Uh, just that time of the year. Something trying to get me. My face itches like crazy. Eyes, all the things. So, anybody that has seasonal allergies, I feel for you. Had them all my life. Took allergy shots for years, but still have allergies. So, um, last couple of years, I haven't had as bad a reaction. Kimberly pointed out, you haven't really been sick for a few years, and I attribute that to taking Flonase like every freaking day. You're not supposed to take it every day according to the label, but I take it every single day, and keeps me from getting sick. So anyway, Goose, Larry, John, Alan, Donald, George, Val, Arturo, Nikki, Jason, Francois, Maurizio, Pat, Cliff, Lucero, Wabar, Craig, Dex, Alan, keep on going, Dave, Michael, Valerie, Dan, Patrick, Nikki, Brian, Kevin. Good morning, everybody. Now, if you want to be on the chat, just like all these awesome people, right here, right down here where the clear monster is, you can see it's kind of woo. That's the green apple kind. If you click the button that's right there, the little square button with my logo on it, be a subscriber of the channel. Then a few seconds later, the live stream comes alive. Unless you're on an iPhone, I guess. iPhones, whatever. Some people are having problems with that. Anyway, if you're having trouble on an iPhone, use a desktop or some other device. iPads seem to work okay. Then you can chat and try local honey. In case you didn't know, I have bees, but local honey hasn't been a thing for me. I'm allergic to mold and mildew. That's not usually in honey. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, join the live stream and click the button on down below with the bell doodad with the things. That way you know when I go live every single day. The contract sales trainer. Good morning. And what a name. Must be your YouTube channel name. Glad to everybody. Congress played Let's Make a Deal over the weekend, late Saturday night, right before the shutdown, like 3 hours to go. But sneaky McCarthy telling Republicans Ukraine was off the table. No big deal. We cut the funding, so they got the votes. And then after they voted it through, he says, "Oh, I told the Democrats we'd vote on Monday on an up-down vote to approve Ukraine funding." He may lose his seat over that. So we'll see what happens. Gates, I guess Gates, however you say his name, filed a motion to vote to remove him. I think they need all the Democrats and 5 Republicans to remove him. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe back into rolling the dice on who's in charge for the next, when they punt this thing down the road 45 days and we come back around to a government shutdown in a few weeks. So anyway, here we go. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. If you didn't know that, welcome to the party. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. I may never get another prediction right again. This presentation here is informational, educational, and hopefully entertaining and fun. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument out there. I don't recommend you buy any stocks. I don't recommend you buy any options. I don't recommend you buy any futures. I don't recommend cryptos or Forex or any other thing out there. Like, don't buy that crap, all right? You're going to lose money one way or another. I mean, and day trading, impossibly hard. So be careful out there. But if you desire personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor who has a fiduciary duty to take care of you. And if you trust me, you like me, consider supporting me. The link is in the description. It's like $5 for 3 months to get started. I mean, if you're brand new, you never had one of my things before, but you can just hang out and watch the YouTube channel. Build some trust with me. Calendar. Look at this craziness that we have cooking here. Welcome to October, last quarter of the year. Last quarter. This week, earnings are pretty much benign. Not much happening, not much crapping. Economic news-wise, not much happening or crapping either. As we look down through here, we've got ISM manufacturing coming up at 10. So in about 40 or 30, 37 minutes or so. Then we've got Fed Powell, Fed Chair Powell speaking. We'll see how that pans out. Hawker speaking too, and Barr. So we got lots of Fed members speaking today. Sometimes what they say causes knee-jerk reactions. Sometimes they just, whatever. Does it all matter? Not really that much. Tomorrow we get JOLTS job openings. Hopefully my voice holds out here. Moving on down, ADP non-farm employment change. Get that on Wednesday. Get ISM services on Wednesday. Then Thursday, unemployment claims. We get that every week. It's colored red, but I don't know that it really matters. They bake the numbers. I mean, it's kind of like whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter. And anyway, then on Friday, average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate. Those do tend to move the market a little bit because that's the monthly print on the unemployment rate, even though those numbers are also completely cooked and booked. We'll start seeing financials pick up earnings coming up. So one of the patterns that's in the markets is that money flows into financials ahead of financial earnings. So this is ahead of the banks like Bank of America, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, all those Wells Fargo, Citibank, all those big financial institutions. Before they start reporting earnings, we see money flow into them. And it does cause a rise. Now, depending on what they say, that rise either continues after that, or we see money flow back out and flow into other areas like tech. The historic pattern is money flows into financials, then into tech, and then disperses through the market. So we usually see tech is the next big sector reporting right after earnings, right after financial earnings, typically in a quarter. So that's kind of the pattern. Can you take advantage of it? Yeah, but you're going to have to be nimble. All right. This is a trader thing, not an investor thing. Keep that kind of straight. I talk about a lot of stuff that's trading, not investing. So I talk about short-term opportunities where we can put money for short-term to catch a move, and then you move it just like the money moves in the markets. Money has to move in the markets to make anybody money. That's just the big guys have to move the money around, and they flow it around, and they make money on the flow. You hear about payment for order flow. That's a different situation. The big guys, they make money. They create these dips when they move their position out, and then they capture those lower prices, and then they ride it back up, and that's how they create the flow. And the flow of the money makes them money. And if they just leave it still, they don't make any money. So that's why you're always seeing news stories about big positions moving in and out of things. Some people hold for the long term. You have your base position, and that's where you capture the big chunk of money. Then you move this little position and get other people to react. And it happens a lot in funds. It happens a lot in algorithms. Algorithms will rip each other. So if you don't know who all the players are, you don't quite understand how it works, ask questions. I've spent years trying to learn how the flow all works quarter to quarter, and it repeats every quarter, same sort of situation. Now, when we have periods of no earnings and no economic news, everything gets kind of boring, and we kind of drift lower. And that's kind of what we're seeing happening here today, pre-market, is that we might actually be drifting lower, even though we just played Let's Make a Deal. I mean, that was supposed to be positive, right? Well, so far, -10. We saw a pop overnight, and now we're seeing a drop. This may be the final move down that I've been looking for. Maybe. Could take us down further than I want to see it go, too. So please be careful. We're seeing Bitcoin ripping. That's a big positive out there. So here's where we are on the S&P. Can we see one final drop? We did on the 4-hour. We did get down here. So we'll probably, if we go down again, we'll probably go lower than we did here. I want to see it hold this orange area right here, although it could go down to this area right down here at the 1618. That's around 41.61. All right. So 42.37, if we get much below that, and really I guess the number's probably the 786 fib there, the 42.27-ish, 42.25-ish. We get below that, watch out for the move down to 41.60. If we can hold this, even with a marginal lower low, this can be all done. Wrapped up, and we can go higher. Keep in mind your time frame, all right? Like I said, I talk about trading. If you're an investor, somewhere in this area, it could be a good time to pick it up because we are likely going way on up here into the next year. Probably coming up here. All right? So keep your time frame in mind. I'm talking what's happening today, tomorrow, the next couple of days. If we zoom out, what's happening in the next couple of months, we'll probably end up almost flat here by the end of the year. From this, from July to 6 months, we'll be almost flat. Could break out, but it's likely going to be next year before we really get running up here in the new highs area. All right. So hopefully that kind of outlines it. I'll be able to better tell you timeline as we get there. I was thinking that we might drop into this first week of October, which is looking highly likely that that's how it's going to play out. I mean, sometimes I get it right. This is one thing we got to be cognizant of on this daily pattern for Head and Shoulders. We could drop out. That would not be ideal. I want to see it hold this area right in here and turn higher. And there's the market open. Getting the red a little bit, not a lot of it. That's okay. Now, where do we need to hold? Let's talk about this really quickly before we jump into some other what's moving today. So right here, we break out above these highs. First this high, overnight high, this high from Friday. We break above those. Likely, we're not going deeper. We're getting out of here, all right? We break down below this low from Thursday, and certainly this low from Wednesday. We're probably going on down to a lower low. A lower low than Wednesday is the lower low. So keep it in mind that that's kind of the levels here. We pull this one across, we get below that, we're probably going to go make a lower low than here. More than likely. If we break above this, correction's probably done for now. And funny enough, that daily roadmap line is right where the 15-minute is right now. Interesting stuff. Hey, Rungamer. Good morning. NASDAQ. Same sort of situation. Same kind of highs. And we may make a lower low because we didn't. Now, the big difference here, NASDAQ didn't make a lower low. That filled the gap. We didn't quite get all the way down where we needed to go on NASDAQ. We did on ES. We kind of filled that gap that we left open from way back here. We filled it. NASDAQ left that gap sitting there. This gap right over here. This gap. NASDAQ left that gap open and hasn't filled it yet. We may see NASDAQ drop out and fill that gap. Just be careful. All right. It can be sitting there. Russell, looks like we came up a little short of the Head and Shoulders pattern, and we may drop down and fill that out. So be careful there. Looks like we've already mucked up the day trade for IWM, so probably no trade there. CL, watch out for a bigger retrace. This could break out and go higher from here, but I don't think so. I think we're due for a bigger retrace before we break out and go higher. Gold, wet in the bed, and probably going for the target right there. That's the watermelon seed squeeze target, and we're almost there. So watch for it to find that support around 1831 and turn higher. And that could be time to, that could be the end of this correction on GC. Gold. Bitcoin, beautiful candle. We're getting above this high, got above that high. I was I thing I've been saying, if we can get above this resistance, we could see a very fast price appreciation. Could take us back into the 33, 30, mid 30,000 area very quickly. Very, very quickly. So be careful, all right? If you're not counting on Bitcoin popping, we usually see a few of these big pop days, and this fits with the 3-day green on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I know this is the futures, not the spot market. We got 3 green days in a row on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. That usually takes us into a 2-ish week bullish period. There it is, playing out once again. We had a little lull in there, but this is definitely higher than those first 3 days. Definitely. So where does this end? Any day now. This move can be done. Ethereum getting smacked down a little bit there. So be cautious, all right? Stay frosty, my friends. Now, somebody was asking me in Discord, like, well, when the dollar's strong, Bitcoin has to drop, right? Well, look at this. Dollar popping today and Bitcoin popping. They're not inversely correlated. That's just not a thing. DXY is based on Forex. Bitcoin is not exactly in Forex. All right. It is a kind of type of currency, exchange thing, but it's crypto. It's not Forex. Forex is like Canadian dollar, US dollar, Japanese yen, US dollar, all the different ones. Odd dollar, US dollar, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. There's currencies all around the world. That's Forex. Bitcoin US dollar, not considered a Forex. Ethereum US dollar, not considered a Forex. So, not really inversely correlated at all. MSTR, nice pop, getting a little red though. We want to see this break on out above that resistance for the most aggressive type entry. A more conservative entry up here above about 420-ish, 418, 420, and that sets the path and targets for like 526, possibly 601. And that could be fine-tuned just a hair right there. Yeah, 532, 616. Well, nice positive potential on MSTR, but we've got to get continuation. Mara, upside, downside. The downside 0. Let's be honest. This thing could just announce that they effed it all up and going broke. We break out above this zone. There's the resistance up here at 13. We break above 13. Targets start to be up here in the $96 to $100 area. Could be really positive on the next breakout. Could be huge move potential here. Short term, we're probably going to come up and test this resistance, retrace back to the roadmap line, and work on trying to break out. Probably going to come up. We'll probably find resistance at the prior high. Highly likely. May find resistance at 30 area where I've been talking about for, gosh, like a year. And so there you go. Short term, long term. Long term, we're probably going to break out and go up here if this thing plays out. Short term, we've got some stuff to work through. BTBT. Beautiful resistance up here at 260. Beautiful start. Got to get continuation. Got to make higher high than we did just 2 weeks ago. And we got to get continuation higher. Right? Got some stuff to work through. It's got kind of a box right here. Got to get through that consolidation before we dip down. Get back above that. We're going to be looking up. That one also has crazy high prices like in the hundreds. It's going to find resistance right here at this prior consolidation right there around 20. Coin, nice potential. Needs to break above 88. We get continuation up into the, possibly 166, 200 area. So nice potential there. Probably find resistance at that prior high, at least for a day or two, if we're going to break on out. ZS, sitting right here. If we can break out, 172, 183. Discover Financial Services has been a hot mess of a chart. It looks like it wants to reach down to this 1272 to me. It looks like it wants to reach down to 79. That's just a big sideways choppy mess of hot mess. I mean, look, the roadmap line is pretty much sideways. Looks like it wants to reach down, flush that out. If I was gonna bet on it right now, I'm not touching that thing. Not touching it. DDOG, that's trying to work on something, but right now, not. I mean, the short-term flatness of that roadmap line just says nothing's happening. We're not really breaking out. We're barely a higher low. We've got a lower high. That's kind of like indecision. There wasn't much movement today because of the pullback in the pre-market. So we got slim pickings today. SPHR, nice little pop, still lower high, could come down, and I would expect it to come down and hit the roadmap line. All right. Gold is, here's the thing. Everything in the market is correlated when it's correlated. It's not when it's not. There's no reason in the world that gold has to drop when the dollar pops. Not a single reason in the world. Gold's based on supply and demand. Demand is low when the dollar's popping. Right now, that may not be the case in the future. Don't get stuck in old market idioms. All right? You'd be like, you know, the other way to look at it, like, look, everything's looking pretty crappy, and the fiat system may blow up. Why isn't gold rocketing to $1 million, an ounce? And that's another way to look at it. Lots of people say gold's the only real money. I don't know. We have industrial uses for gold. It's not huge, but we do. We coat things with gold. So, just be careful. Silver has a much higher industrial use, but then we look at the silver chart, and it looks a lot like gold. This stuff moving on sentiment, not on fundamentals. We saw the watermelon seed squeeze play out. Silver's got a further drop to go. Could drop on down to that $19 level again. I don't know if it'll play out, but it's on the chart. All right. Circling back around. OKTA. Nice potential right there. Upside would be, we do have resistance right here at the prior high. Possibly 93, possibly 97 on a move up above 87. Otherwise, we could come down and hit the roadmap line, go a little deeper. BitX, there's a 2x. You want to play something that moves crazy. Here you go. 2x Bitcoin strategy. They approved a 2x strategy on futures, but they can't approve a spot ETF. Are you effing kidding me? This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Worried about investors losing money with a spot ETF, but we can have something that's leveraged on futures. It's ridiculous. Anyway, don't have a lot of history, but we've got resistance right there. Upside 1820. Now, leveraged, caution. Leverage does not always follow my patterns. But there you go. Arch, probably coming back down to the roadmap line. Wow, some big numbers. Be careful chasing that one. Definitely come right back down. ASML, probably chugging its way down to the target zone. Rejected the orange box. May drop. If we can get back above the roadmap line, that's a good indication that this is done. Otherwise, my target is right down here. Holding the 50 is positive. That was the 50% retrace. I do kind of expect it to go down to the 618 though. Doesn't have to. It could hold here, turn higher. Breaking above the roadmap line would be the indication that this is going on higher at this point. Resistance will be, yeah, it'll look better if it drops on down here. Yep. It could be done. A move up through 700 is going to be the conservative entry right now. Looking for 829 and 900, but I give it like a little higher odds that we're going to drop on down on ASML. DHR, ouch. Oh, right to the target. Now we can find support and turn higher or push on down to 191. Came up short right there, and now we hit it. Classic. SEDG, Goose, I know you're messing with this one. Getting the bigger retrace. How low does she go? She has some support right there. But it could come down to 77. Be careful. It could come down to 67 too. Also, that consolidation right there from back in COVID times. We could go back down there. Be careful. AGQ, Ultra Silver. That's probably going to ultra drop as silver drops. That's a leveraged instrument also. Be careful on leverage. And BITI, short Bitcoin. And this is going to plummet if Bitcoin pops to the 30,000s. Probably going to go lower low. That looks like a bearish chart. And it's short. An ultra short or just short? And watch out for that one to plummet out the bottom. All right. That's the list for the day. Bias for the day, highly cautious. Kind of outlined it there at the beginning. Really, the numbers are in the futures more than they are anywhere else. Those levels that I was talking about. Pop this back up to the 15-minute chart. Can we save it? That's the big question. If we get below 4,300 on the futures, not the cash. You know, the cash is already below 4,300. On the futures, if we get below 4,300, watch out. We're probably going lower low. If we break out above overnight high, 43.55-ish, watch for the bullish move to take hold. You know, we could wrap this whole correction up and head off to higher highs. It is a pivotal moment right now. The next couple days are going to set this direction. Are we going to break out? Are we going to break down? All right. There you go. That's kind of the view. I will be in Discord. I've got a special meeting coming up at 1 o'clock. If you haven't seen everything, check me out in Discord. I'll throw a link in there around 1 o'clock. I'm going to share something with you. The Turnmeyer Trading Labs, as we call it. Opportunity to come join me. It is a invite-only situation, so you have to interview for it. And come check me out at 1 o'clock if you want to know more about that. Otherwise, have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow, where we talk about the morning monster. Remember, it's not being wrong that costs you the money. It is staying wrong. Don't stay wrong. Know when you're wrong. Close your position. You'll be way better off. Bye for now. Have